Hello everyone, welcome back to the Scream Network. In this video, we're gonna talk about Scream 7. We have some teasers and some pretty cool information that was given to us by none other than Mason Gooding, who plays Chad in the 5 and 6 installments of Scream. He'll be back in 7, and he's been pretty open. Mason's a nice guy, you could tell. He's very genuine, highly respected in my opinion. Definitely a good person and a good actor, and very young, very humble, very humble. I gotta keep putting that out there. Seems like a really nice guy, but he had a lot of interesting things to say about Scream, and in a way that, in the way that he's able to say it. Unfortunately, he can't give things away because that would be spoilers and it would ruin it for everybody else. So he was very kind with it and very as honest as you can be without, like I said, ruining it for everybody. So some good stuff here. This film is really interesting in a way because you think about it, I don't think since 5 did we feel so hyped. I think with 5, a lot of us felt hyped because it was so long since we've seen a Scream film, and then it came, it was rebooted, and then we saw David Arquette and we saw Courtney Cox and of course Neve Campbell. So we got real excited, and then we saw this picture of a whole new cast joining in. It was real exciting, 5. Whether or not you thought it was really good, did it live up to the hype? I liked it personally. I liked it better than 6, specifically because 1, we did have the entire legacy cast. Well, not the entire, but we had the main 3, right? We had Courtney Cox, we had Neve Campbell, and we did have Dewey. Now, we lost Dewey in that film, but nonetheless, he was in it, and his time in the film was epic. I thought they made him a very strong character up until the point of his demise, but nonetheless, that film was highly anticipated, and it was good. I think they did a really good job kind of reminiscing on the original, copying certain things, but also trying to be original in their way as well. So I think not since the 5th installment have we had a reason to really be excited. We're hearing so much about the returns. The possibilities are endless. We're hearing about, we have Roman, we have Stu, we might get Emma Roberts coming back as Jill. Who knows, right? Now, we do have to ask ourselves, how are all these Ghostfaces coming back? Some are thinking that Stu might be alive. Maybe Roman, right? Did Roman fake his death? I mean, he knew how to do those types of stunts. Stu, he could have survived. We didn't see him go out in a body bag. People think it's, he survived. He's been hiding out. He could be behind a lot of what's been happening, all of what's been happening since the very first installment. With the help of Roman pulling strings. It's very possible. Who knows? I'm sure there'll be something else that we don't know about. And, people think that maybe Jill is still alive as well. It's very possible. Anything is possible when it comes to Scream, for the most part. I don't think Dewey will, if he comes back, he won't be alive. That would just be ridiculous because of the way his character died. There's just no way they can make him come back other than a memory or as a ghost or something of that nature. But for these other characters, the Ghostface, you never know. Especially Stu. Many think he's going to come back. He's going to be all scarred up from the television, frying his face. Maybe he'll have nerve damage. But nonetheless, they think he's actually going to be there. That it's not just going to be a dream or a ghost or anything of that nature. So that'll be real interesting in a way. I don't know how I feel about him actually coming back as a live person, pulling the strings all this time. I guess for many it could be a shocker. But I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Now, for some, and everyone has just got an opinion. Most of us don't know exactly what's going to happen. We're just talking about it because we're interested in the franchises, and that's what we do. But you'll never hear me say, unless I can back it up, and if I can back it up, I'll tell you, I know, because I got word from someone very important that's involved with the installments in the film and the producing and the whole thing, then I'll say I'll put my money on it, and I'll say, I know for sure this is going to happen. Otherwise, you won't hear that from me. This is all speculation, but people are saying, other creators in this world of Scream and horror films, are saying that it's very possible that Stu is alive and that he may come back towards the end of the movie and like we'll get like a cliffhanger, and that could lead to an 8th installment and maybe a 9th installment. So basically they can kind of use him at the end to kind of reboot the series again for another 2 more installments. Very possible, because for me, up until hearing those ideas, which were very clever and smart, I'm thinking, they're bringing a lot of these legacy characters back, the old Ghostface, as a way to kind of like remember and kind of go out with like a bang, kind of get everybody that was really crucial to the franchise back in it, so that it goes out in like a blaze of glory. And maybe for me, it was like a moment of where like Sydney is remembering a lot of what happens, or what she went through, and she kind of sees like all of these Ghostface or whatnot, but who knows, right? We could see Roman alive, we could see Stu alive, who knows? So that's what makes this whole thing interesting. We have, I think, a little over a year. I think February 27th of 2026 is the scheduled release day for the film to hit theaters. So up until then, which is again over a year, we got a year and 20 days to speculate and assuming they don't push it back. I don't think they'll make it earlier. If anything, they'll need more time, but who knows, right? So that's what's interesting. So Mason, who spoke with Variety, revealed that Scream 7 will feature the most brutal Ghostface of the franchise. Some are saying, well, Mason said that about 5 and said that about 6, and it's always the same. But personally, if you ask me, the killings have been getting more brutal. I mean, look at what happened to Dewey. Look at what happened to, there was so many characters in 5. Look at what happened to Judy. I mean, that was pretty bad. Right in front of her home, daylight. She got it pretty bad. Right in front of her house like that. So we had Dewey. That was a brutal, horrible scene. Probably one of the worst, if you ask me. A lot of emotion behind it as well. But also Judy Hicks, that was pretty bad. And we had some other good scenes there. So people are saying, oh, the kill scenes weren't that good in that film. I thought they were pretty good. They tried to make it a lot like the original. And in the original, we had our gruesome moments, right? They didn't want to make it exactly like the first one with the opening scene, killing, they didn't want to kill Tara off because she was meant to live and go on, and they wanted to do things a little different, right? If you think about it, Jenna Ortega is like Drew Barrymore right now. Even at that time, Jenna Ortega was already like being well known. She was a child actress. She was still young, but she was becoming an adult and basically around the exact same age as Drew Barrymore, and well known in the world of film with a lot of the younger generation. So they did their research. They did their homework with casting her to kind of be like in a position of Drew, play just like Drew, Casey Becker. So hats off to them for doing that. We don't see too much of that talent anymore. We don't see any more of that research. So this film, I do believe that they will try to elevate the game and make Ghostface more brutal because they want to shock the audience. Now, how this is going to play out, this whole film, is beyond me, and that's what makes it interesting. I think they're really going to try to top it. They lost 2 really important people, cast members. They lost Melissa Barrera, who plays Sam Carpenter. They lost Jenna Ortega, who plays Tara. So I think they're going to do their best to kind of get your mind off of that. Get your mind off of all the drama that's happened recently, because we lost Nev in 6, right? And they killed off Dewey in 5, which left a lot of people pissed off. So although it made for a very dramatic, important scene and it did shock the audience, they know a lot of people were pissed about it. And so I think what they're trying to do now is, others have said it best, give everyone a fan favorite, make everyone excited, pumped, and it's working, because hearing about Stu coming back, hearing about Roman coming back, hearing about the possibility of Jill coming back, who knows? I think Hayden Panettiere is not coming back as Kirby. I believe I read that she declined the contract, so I don't know, maybe the deal wasn't, up to par for her. Maybe there wasn't enough in the film for her to be there to really argue a good investment for her to make her way back. We got to see her in 6, so that was good. But you never know. That could be worked out. That could also be a rumor that she declined. Maybe the contract is still being negotiated. We'll see. I think they're trying to add as many characters from the past to this script as they can. Being Kevin Williamson back in the director seat, there's just so much to feel good about. Now, I don't think they'll disappoint. I think it'll be ultimately very entertaining either way we look at it. And as far as what Mason said, I think we'll definitely see some nasty scenes. I think they're definitely going to try to push the button here. And I don't know. It depends. There's a lot of speculation of how this, the film is going to start. Who's going to be the opening kill scene. Thinking about it, some have said that it could be Sydney's husband, right? He might get killed, and that would make sense in a way to have her come back, right? Like maybe he has to go to Woodsboro for something, and he gets killed, on the job or whatnot, so she comes back. Or maybe it happens where she is. But either way, she wants revenge, and she tries to track down Ghostface or something of that nature. But I mean, obviously, if her husband gets killed, that leaves her with her daughter, and she's gonna want revenge. So that would make sense to bring her back into the game. So we could see that. I think her daughter will live. I don't think her daughter will get killed. I think it'll be kind of like Sydney and her daughter against Ghostface. I think we might see Chad, aka Mason Gooding, finally pass, simply because he survived the other two. And if you think about it, he's kind of like a Dewey. Yeah, you notice how he survives just like Dewey. Remember in part 2, well, the first one, of course, he was technically supposed to die in the first one, Dewey, but they decided to keep him. But in part 2, remember, he's in the movie theater and he gets stabbed and we think he's dead. Then he comes out in a stretcher, and he didn't. I think in the third one, he almost got killed as well. And the fourth one, I think they let him. He was good in the fourth one. But otherwise, like, that's the same thing with Chad. Like, Chad should have definitely died. In 6, he got stabbed by 2 Ghostfaces, and it was a brutal stab scene that definitely should have ended him. But no, he made it out alive. So this time around, he might get it, and it might be a bad one just to piss people off. If he's saying that made him sick, he could be talking about his own scene. He said it turned his stomach. So he's probably talking about his own dead scene in that film. Will Mindy get it? Maybe. They may want to keep someone, but I think he's on that list. I'll be shocked if they keep him around. But either way, Mason giving as much goods as he can. I think he also said he expressed his excitement in getting to work with franchise-led Neve Campbell, who hasn't been able to have many scenes during 2022 Scream, he said. But he didn't work much with her, he said. As I get to work with Neve in Scream 7, who I didn't get a great opportunity to see and talk to on a personal level on Scream 5. He says, so in this case, even just getting to be around her feels like I'm getting part of that history, and I feel better for it. So, yeah, that's cool. Cool stuff. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think that, oh, he also says, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some stuff that they do to the human body that I feel like Kevin is breaking new ground with. Maybe it's some like Saw type stuff. They're saying that this is the most brutal, absolutely the most brutal that he's ever been. So, interesting here. Well, you know, he's angry, I guess. You know, this will be interesting nonetheless. Shoot a comment down below your thoughts. Do you think Chad will die in this one? Do you think Stu is alive, not just in memory? Do you think Roman's alive, not just in memory? Do you think Jill will return, also alive, not actually in memory? Leave a comment down below. It'll be real interesting to see how this all unfolds. They keep adding to the list, so that's what makes this movie exciting. But I don't know how all of them can be alive, to be honest. But hey, you never know, right? So maybe they've been working together for quite some time now. We'll find out. All right, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.